would be a very significant event. Certainly, the trend of events is now moving towards us, because if we move on, if we may, to the euro, this failed project, which I think was always designed to fail, and you have also spotted this a long way back.
Well, they've admitted that. In fact, hold on just a second, Lord Monckton, because I want to go back before you expand and continue. For people living in North America, living in the U.S., the magnitude of this, the same shareholders of the European Central Bank are the very same crew that runs our Federal Reserve that is endorsing the October Bolshevik Revolution here. There's no doubt that's what the dominant groups running the Occupy Wall Street are calling for, a collectivism, a demonization of free market, with the big mega banks pushing it, wanting to use the unwashed crowd to scalp any middle-class people that they haven't robbed yet. So your fight is our fight. And so I was thinking I was correct reading this, but you've confirmed that. To have John Major come out, and these quotes are just astounding in the Financial Times, and say, we don't have a vote in Europe. We need to get our sovereignty back. We need to force this, is a major power structure break, and really shows a huge weakening of Prime Minister David Cameron. And it's another example of how the fascists want to collectivize us down on the farm while they sit back with all the wealth. So it really is fascism sitting upon a collectivist model at the lower level. That's what I've always seen from these people. They want to make it like socialism, fascism, communism, three different things, really just three different flavors of the same cyanide Kool-Aid. But to be specific here with my question, what does this signify to have David Cameron come out and say, I don't want you to be able to vote, as we come to this moment of truth where all of Europe is told you will give up whatever sovereignty you have left to an unelected group who will levy taxes upon you? I mean, this is far worse than what King George was doing to the colonies. I mean, this is such naked tyranny, and they're not even lying anymore saying, we're going to do this so we can give you your free welfare. And no, they're saying in Europe, we will give you financial devastation unless you capitulate. I mean, this is so Hitlerian.
Well, I'm afraid one does start using these words like fascist and Hitlerian when one looks at what is happening. And there's no doubt that the political class in Europe, as in America, is now grabbing for absolute power. It's trying to end democracy. It's trying to preserve all the trappings and all the appearance of democracy. You can still go to the polls every 4 years, but it won't make any difference because the decisions will all be taken by people you don't elect. You can't hold to account, you can't question them, you can't remove them, and you can't replace them. We've been living under that system now for 20 or 30 years with the Hitlers of the European Union. Of course, they don't wear jackboots. Of course, they don't go around gassing people anymore. It's not that kind of thing. What it is, though, is it could very easily lead to that, because if you don't keep democracy as a constant injection of restraint and common sense into the governing system, then that's the way things go towards ever greater extremism. You only have to look at this whole climate rubbish. Now, anybody with half a brain can see that that's been oversold prodigiously. And yet the entire governing class worldwide went for it. Why? Not because they cared about whether it was true or not. All they cared about was it convenient? Was it expedient? Was it profitable? Was it going to give them this power that they want in ever larger chunks?
It was another power grab, so that's my question. That's my question before we get back into the whole latest on climate. What is going to happen then in England if you have John Major coming out and saying we deserve to be able to vote and we need to get out of the euro or at least weaken it? And then you've got all these people prancing around in the fake Labour parties and the fake Tory parties, as you said, giving you two choices of the same thing. That's their modern tyrannical way. What is going to happen is they're purely revealed. I mean, most of the European countries were brought in without a vote. Now they're being told you'll have no authority over taxes. I mean, this is incredible. I mean, all you've got to do is call them out, and you'd think they would just fall, but they don't.
Well, they don't, because our political class will not let us have a say on this. You see, when the political class when the government gets something wrong, and it got Europe very badly wrong at a very early stage, And when it becomes blindingly obvious to everyone that the government got it wrong, and the entire governing class got it wrong, then it simply can't and won't admit its mistake. Why? Because although ministers come and go, the civil servants in the background, who are in favour of all this because if they want more pay and greater power, they can just go to Europe and get a European civil service job, they are all still in place. They are all untouched by whatever the people may think. And they don't want this change. They don't want to admit their mistake any more than they do on the climate thing. I only bring in the climate thing here as an illustration of how no longer does our governing class care whether it's getting things right or wrong. It doesn't even try to get them right. It simply governs purely for the sake of dismantling democracy. That's what's going on now. Piece by piece, step by step, they're taking democracy away. They're doing it largely by stealth. We still have elections. They don't mean anything. You can get a David Cameron or a David Miliband or whatever the other fellow's called. These people, they're all the same. They all stand for the same things. And realistically, the chance of UKIP becoming the largest party in British elections, that's still quite some way off, but it will come, step by step, as gradually the people of Britain, many of whom listen to your programme, hear people like me saying to them, we are not going to give up on you. It's not the whole governing class that has turned against you. We are going to speak for democracy, for freedom, for the right of you, the people, we, the people.
Yes, sir. Stay there. We're going to come right back. Come right back, Lord Monckton.
Our rights as individuals to freely purchase dietary supplements over the counter are under constant attack. The globalists want to ban all supplements formulated after 1994. Governments are hoarding raw materials, affecting our ability to purchase these products at a reasonable price. Even organic foods are stripped of nutrients due to overuse of soil and compromised growing conditions. Storable foods are essential, but you also need to make sure you have the nutrients you need to stay healthy during emergencies. Go to survivalrx.com today and see the amazing line of storable supplements they have to protect the ones you love. The owners of survivalrx.com have been in sports nutrition for over a decade, and they realize the need for long-term storable vitamins. The result is a triple nitrogen flushing method, which allows these vitamins to maintain their strength for decades. Again, go to survivalrx.com. That's survivalrx.com. Infowars.com for 16 years has led the charge against the technocrats. We have had unrivaled success in unlocking minds, expanding paradigms, and rallying the people to face the New World Order. No one can deny that our media operation is the tip of the spear, and it's because of our success that we have a responsibility to intensify our operations against the globalists 110%. We're only a month away from launching a weeknight news broadcast. The social network is nearing completion as well. The free newsletter is reaching hundreds of thousands. Please spread the word about Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. Sign up at the top of Infowars.com for the free Infowars Insider email with exclusive video and text reports as well as breaking news. Look in the mirror. You are the resistance. It is up to us, the Info Warriors, to take the initiative and to defeat the globalist.
Hey guys, are weaker testosterone levels taking you out of the game? Are you gaining fat, feeling tired, losing desire in the bedroom? Get back in the game. Call now for a risk-free trial of Ageless Male, a natural supplement shown to raise testosterone by 61% and maintain healthy, normal levels. No injections, no appointments. Just take Ageless Male every day and boost your testosterone by 61%. When your levels are healthy, you can feel energy again, a great outlook again, and yes, a healthy sex drive. The results are life-changing. Beware of cheap knockoffs. Ageless Male is an exclusive formula and the only one proven in research to boost testosterone 61%. Try Ageless Male, risk-free. Just call 1-800-497-8345. 1-800-497-8345. 1-800-497-8345.
You know, many historians have pointed out that each generation faces a new form of tyranny, and it always looks different and is packaged different and smells different to a certain extent than the last one. And because people don't know history, they're doomed to repeat it. Whereas Lord Acton said power corrupts, or power tends to corrupt, absolute power corrupts absolutely. And there is no doubt with all of their taxes, their regulations, banning kids having balloons, outdoor space heaters, businesses, everything the euro does is pure tyranny. And now it's transferring publicly to an undemocratic thing, and our own media is praising it. I mean, it's Twilight Zone-ish to see this as they just normalize it. And now there's cracks in the facade. You have David Cameron. I mean, here's the headline. UK should stay in EU, says Cameron. He goes on to say he will not support, will try to block a referendum on UK membership of the European Union. Imagine, you go under something that makes your laws, and it's a bureaucracy that has a debating committee, but it's like our super Congress now with spending bills. They bring forward the bill, not an individual member. It's not debated. It's brought forward for an up or down vote. And if you don't pass it, then it just goes ahead and the super Congress passes it. It's like, you can rubber stamp this if you want, but if you don't, we're going ahead with it. I mean, this is like a Monty Python skit or something about a false democracy or false republic. And democracies are dangerous because people can vote for something bad, but you can have a republic that has democracy in it, but blocks excesses. This is the worst form, where it's just pure tyranny. So just to get this straight then, what is the magnitude of this? Because the former British Prime Minister, former Tory, John Major, says this will end UK sovereignty. It will transfer the financial system of London to Frankfurt. What is the full import of this? What does this say about the power structure in the UK that this is happening?
The first thing to say is that Frankfurt already controls the city of London. From the 1st of January last year, 2010, all control over the regulation of the City of London passed to the European Union. It did so more or less secretly. There are still quite a lot of people in the city who themselves don't realise who their new masters now are. But the City of London is already history. People are moving out. Large financial institutions are realising that they don't want to be in a City of London that's part of the European Union. They want to be outside it. They're moving to Geneva. And here's the thing, so many of them are now trying to move to Switzerland, which is in Europe but outside the European Union, has all the trading rights and freedoms, but none of the obligations and none of the political nonsense. It remains a democracy. They now have so many people from the City of London, major firms, trying to get out of Britain and get out of Europe, this new sinister dictatorship, and get into Switzerland instead, that the Swiss canton, where the financial centre in Switzerland is, has had to close its waiting list for applications from Britain to move in and set up business there. That's how fast people are now already realising that the City of London is finished. This great institution, which has been there trading successfully and freely for more than 600 years, has just gone through two of the worst decades for stock market performance since records first began more than 600 years ago.
So what Hitler was unable to do, the euro has now done.
That's right. They have taken power away from the City of London. And I remember I went and had breakfast with the Lord Mayor, this is about 20 years ago now, and he was urging me to write a leading article in the Evening Standard, for which I then set the editorial policy on these political matters.
Lord Monckton, I apologize for interrupting. Can you do 5 more minutes and finish this amazing story? Okay, great, because he's been... sure, stay there. We're going to be right back in 1 minute. For 20 years predicting this, now it's happening.
You are listening to GCN. Visit GCNlive.com today.
You can bet your life on eFoods Direct. Alex has told you about the amazing, great-tasting, long-term storable food from eFoods Direct and how a food savings account is your best insurance against natural disasters, job loss, and high food costs. But did you know that this dehydrated food also protects you against foodborne contaminants like E. coli and salmonella? Those poisonous critters can't live in low moisture